am I looking at here?
She is a 961-year-old demigoddess of death.
With the body of a
She swings
10-year-old.
a giant halberd and lays waste to everybody.
And looks like a child.
And looks like a child. Not fully with
But she's not.
But she's not. Kids don't swing halberds like that.
961 miles.
961-year-old demigoddess.
Your line, April.
I envy that a lot. What is your answer?
Well, my husband gets recognized more than I do, but even then, like, the recognition is very limited because neither of us really market our face. I did get recognized once, but like it was at like an anime movie screening. So the people who, and it wasn't like they were like, oh my God, that's Marin Miller. It was like, oh, I follow them on Twitter and I like their Yuri on Ice tweets.
Again, I'm recording this, please. If anybody sees this, I'm gonna get dates, names, and everything wrong. I understand, so.
Hello. In today's video, I am here to talk to you about AnimeOklahoma 2024. This happened on November 15th through the 17th of 2024. Before I go any further with the video, I want to acknowledge this. Yes, this is a convention that happens in Oklahoma. As you are aware, because you've probably seen multiple videos on the channel, I also cover conventions in Texas. And don't be surprised in the future I take this further, because I have already gone to conventions in other states. Maybe the next step is in another country. But regardless, my point is that just because this happens in a certain location and you don't live there, that doesn't mean the video is not for you. In actuality, that means the video is absolutely for you, because I just covered something that has voice actors in games and anime that you know and love. There could be a possibility these group of people may not come to your area, or at least these specific people may not come together as a group. You might just get one of them. So that's one reason you should absolutely watch videos such as this. You should absolutely check out my convention videos. That's, of course, if it interests you. If you could care less about the people that do the voices of characters in games or anime, then absolutely disregard everything I'm saying. Enjoy the rest of the channel. Anyways, with that out of the way, let's go back to the topic of AnimeOklahoma. So, as you guys have seen, if you've been watching any of the AnimeOklahoma videos, I've mentioned and referenced Javier a couple of times on the channel, and he's been the main power behind AnimeOklahoma until recently. So they've changed leadership, and Javier is no longer a part of or affiliated with AnimeOklahoma. Now, as far as why Javier is no longer a part of AnimeOklahoma, I don't know the story or history behind that, but to be honest with you, it really doesn't matter, because I'm just grateful that he created AnimeOklahoma, that, or if he didn't create it, he was the driving force behind it, because hearing his story and how his mentor was the guy that originally ran AzumiCon, that was one of the reasons why I wanted to back him and I wanted to support this. So it's a little weird, but at the same time, I'm still here for AnimeOklahoma. I'm still here to support it. But at the same time, I just wanted to acknowledge Javier and what he's done, shout him out, give him some love. Thank you for everything that you've done for AnimeOklahoma the past couple of years. I'm sure that I'll see Javier again in the future. I know that he runs a couple of other anime conventions, so don't be surprised if you see him on the channel again soon. So with all that being said, yes, that means that AnimeOklahoma is under new leadership. And for the most part, I feel like they did a pretty good job. And they definitely helped me out, showed me some love by upgrading my badge, which allowed me to get some really good shots and get some really good footage throughout the convention, and I'm grateful for that. So shout out to them, shout out to the new team at AnimeOklahoma, and hopefully you guys appreciate this video. I mean, if I were to be completely honest, I think as far as AnimeOklahoma goes, this is going to be one of my better ones, probably the best AnimeOklahoma video I've made yet. And the reason for that is really simple. It's a great, all-encompassing, obviously I can't go to every panel, every event, but I feel like it's the most balanced video I've made on AnimeOklahoma. If you're new to the channel and you have no idea who I am Ryofu. This is the Gaming Harbinger. We mainly cover gaming news, anime news. We also do reviews on games and anime. And, you know, every so often we make videos such as this. We talk about conventions. If any of that sounds remotely intriguing to you, please consider subscribing. So now that I've wasted a bunch of your time, because that's what I do, sorry, you're going to have to get used to it. Let's get into the video. So the first panel I attended was a SungWon Cho Q&A. The room was way too big for the type of panel it was, but the panel was a good time. I guess you could say it was a cozy experience because not a lot of people showed up, and I do have some background on that, and we'll cover that more towards the end of the video. I have to say, one of the things that is really refreshing about SungWon is that he really is just a down-to-earth dude. He is not someone who is obsessed with social media. He is not someone who wants to be famous. In fact, he calls YouTube a goofy accident.
Do you prefer being a YouTuber or a voice actor, or is there a middle ground where you're happy with having both as an option?
There is absolutely no middle ground. Voice actor. YouTube is not something I really have any passion for. I have fun doing it, but it was completely on accident. For me, acting is very important to me, very creatively fulfilling, and YouTube is a goofy accident that I'm like, still, like I'm still managing to. Okay, sure.
I don't think I've ever said this on any of my videos, but I'm going to keep it real with you guys. Give me some of that goofy accident. Come on, let's go. Let's go. But seriously, though, seriously, obviously, I do YouTube when I can. You know, I really do enjoy making the videos and everything. If I can make a little scratch off of it, you know. Meanwhile, everyone else is just like, oh, man, if only I could get more subs. Oh man, if only I could do this and that. Oh man, if only I just have that one viral video, that would help so much. Oh man, you know, so many people are analyzing and just studying, making like 6 different thumbnails for one video. And then this guy over here is just like, I mean, yeah, it's all right. Dude, he's the man. He's the man. He's the homie.
Yep.
Favorite board game?
Marvel Legendary. Do you know it?
No.
It's a co-op deck building game, and I don't even care about Marvel that much. I'm not a Marvel comics guy, but it's just a really fun cooperative card game that I really like.
So after this, I was able to go to his autograph booth, get an autograph, and just briefly chat with him for a bit. And one of the things I learned unexpectedly through him was that he was a character in Grand Blue Fantasy. I'm like, how about that? These 2 games that I absolutely loved. I was like, oh, I have to check this out. I have to check this out. And sure enough. So due to me needing a little time to kill, this was a great time to check out the dealer's room. Now, the dealer's room has been consistent over the years. Now, in some ways, you could say it's bigger than ever because they separated the artist alley and the dealer's room. The artist alley was like kind of closer by the entrance, and it was in this room that was kind of see-through. It was just all glass. I think this is a great idea. Like if you have an opportunity to do this and you're running a convention, it is good to separate both areas. If you could keep them all together, if you have the space for it, by all means do that. That's even better. Next thing up was the Idolpalooza. I had like a rough idea of what an idol is, but I realized there were a lot of holes in what I thought I knew to be true. So this was actually a good opportunity to learn some things that I thought I had an understanding on or had somewhat of a grasp, but yeah, there's just a lot of things I didn't know.
What this panel is sort of intended for is to offer a community space to learn about idols as a concept, but also build upon the Kaigai overseas idol community, which is what we mean by the who performs in relation to and style similar. So Kaigai idols and overseas idols, which, fun fact, Kaigai is kind of just overseas in Japanese, so if I say Kaigai and I say overseas, it's the same thing. So I'm just going to intersperse them because words mean things, but sometimes they mean the same thing.
One thing that kind of made me feel warm and fuzzy on the inside was hearing about J-pop artists. Now, I came from the era of getting into J-rock and Visual K in 1999. And it did have some moderate success stateside. Now, obviously, in Japan, it was doing its thing. It was doing quite well. But as far as like over here in the West, there was some moderate success. You know, you had a bunch of bands come to conventions and whatnot. I mean, hell, even Deer and Gray became a part of the Family Values tour. But even that, it is absolutely nothing in comparison to K-pop in recent years. This panel covered everything from the origins of idols to its impact on the modern day music scene.
It's kind of also really hard to make notable idol ranked lists of like idol groups, because as soon as I say here's a list of like the most important idols, someone's gonna get really mad at me. So that's why I'm saying these are notable, and there are so many other notable ones too. This is just a random list that I curated. Like, I didn't curate, I just grabbed some random ones. So take a look, just know that there are like 500,000 more that you can look at, and then I'm gonna go over to the boy groups. So here's gonna be your next fun little fact that I didn't get into, that I'm gonna talk about because I think it's crazy. In the beginning, it was almost impossible to make a boy idol, like J-pop group that was not under that guy, the Kitagawa Johnny, his company, because he owned and like controlled every single popular male idol group, like every single one. Not to deal in exacts. It wasn't every single one, because the alternative and the underground idol scene started to exist, and other guy groups came up. For example, my favorites, Mezemoa, I love them. They're not under his company, but it was practically impossible for most like J-idol groups that were not a female one to exist unless they were produced by that guy.
We even got a performance.
I'm Jamie.
This is Jamie. Jamie's gonna perform a little something dance for us, but maybe just the dance bit. And this is gonna be our first performer of the open mic night of this.
Hey, I have the whole thing, but you have to be an absolute ninja when it comes to YouTube and music. They just don't play with that stuff. Or maybe I shouldn't even say it's YouTube. It's really the companies. They just don't play when it comes to this stuff. So you have to be really strategic. You got to be on your game. Black Nerd Rises strikes again and delivering their high quality panel anime openings. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. This is definitely a panel that should have been in a bigger room. There was one year I know they were downstairs, kind of in the main, not the entrance, but more towards the back wall of the first floor in the Reed Center. And that was a perfect spot. This type of panel has like a lot of mass appeal. And then also the way they run it, they do a very good job. They keep it funny. They keep it entertaining. So I remember one of those times they did that, they had like 60 people there, maybe more. And so now it was like a lot less, but also, I mean, for the size of the room, they filled it up pretty well, I would say. And also I didn't get to stay for the whole thing. So, I mean, I don't know if eventually more and more people just kept coming in. But the point that I'm trying to make, though, is just that this is one of those panels that has a lot of mass appeal. So you should just give them the space, because a lot of people will come even if they're just walking by and they hear certain songs and then they're curious and they look in. Oh, I can do that. Like any anime fan can do that. Even just a very casual anime fan, an anime fan that has only watched stuff on TV, even they can jump into this and have a good time.
There we go. go. Okay, y'all, let's Team Shocker. Let's Team Shocker. All right, y'all. Now let me get your names.
Chase.
Chase and Chase and Kiara. Okay, y'all got a team name? Y'all have this whole time. Team name. I'll give y'all. All right, this Team Nerd Alert, y'all. Team Nerd Alert. All right, there we go. What y'all gonna win, Nerd Alert?
I was doing a lot of Japanese openings and stuff like that in my car, so I know quite a few.
What about you? You got that too?
I've been watching anime for 15 years, so if I don't win, I'm crying.
Now, even though you just heard me talk that talk and walk that walk, I'll be honest with you, I have no idea how like getting a panel actually works. So I could be dead wrong in this, and maybe it's you got to pay X amount of money in order to get certain panels, or they could just be like, nah, we're saving the big ones for voice actors and stuff like that. And if that's the case, then yeah, there's absolutely nothing you could do. You just take what you can get, keep it moving, do your thing, make sure you put on a good show, and that's that. If that's the case, then all I can say is they did their thing. They always do a good job. And one thing, I thought was pretty cool, the first contestants will say, they gave them a moment to shout out their socials, like if it was Twitch or if it was YouTube or whatever. And that's pretty damn cool. So, I'm going to do the same thing in return and say you should check out Black Nerd Rises. I think they are on YouTube and they're on Twitter. I'm not sure where else they are. They're doing pretty well on the short form content, which is the total opposite of me. I'm doing horrible, with the exception. There's a couple videos on TikTok that did all right. But anyways, you should check them out on TikTok and YouTube. They do some good stuff. And like I said, the stuff that they do with conventions and then how they're able to make that into content in short form, and showcase cosplay and show people at conventions having fun. They're just really good at that stuff. It's props to them on that. Now, this panel had voice actors Marin Miller, SungWon Cho, and Rebecca Thomas from Delicious in Dungeon. This panel went in unexpected directions, from SungWon Cho sharing how many board games he's played, to Marin Miller sharing voice actor pay, and they even took a moment to talk about video games.
I don't game so much nowadays, but I was really into, I would play League of Legends as a way to just let off some steam and pass time and stuff like that. I played mostly Arama, and Diana is best girl. Other than that, I also play Tetris. Yeah. It's a game. But yeah, that's about as far as it goes for me.
Mine is Paper Mario.
Oh, yes, Paper Mario. Classic.
Paper Mario?
Yeah.
Nice.
I really like the Ace Attorney series.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's the boy, the sad boy.
Yes.
I really like Ace Attorney, although at this point it's do I really like the game, or do I just like pretending the dolls or the characters are my personal dolls that I can dance around? But
both.
Yes, both. You're right, someone. Let's be brave. But yeah, and I also really like Dragon Age. The original one, the first one, and Assassin's Creed. I like a lot of games.
The first Assassin's Creed?
Yes.
Okay.
I know, I'm really unpopular.
This panel was not quite what I expected, but it was very, very entertaining. And don't get me wrong, they all had to take a moment to answer some very generic questions like, how did you get into voice acting? Stuff like that. But hey, that's gonna happen. But that's also the reason why I like going to voice actor panels, because sometimes you don't know what kind of questions are going to get asked. So Rating Your Waifus and Husbandus by SungWon Cho. This panel did not disappoint. So this is my second time actually going to this panel. The first one I attended, it was ACON 2023. And oh my God, when I recorded this in 2023, I messed up something with the camera, and I was so upset. You guys don't know that, but yeah, I had a moment where I did record something, but it did not turn out good, so I could not use it. So this time I was a little more prepared, you know, but also just in general, this panel was just super entertaining.
Olga. This character.
The Sailor Uranus knockoff?
You know, I'll say 3.5. How about you? She a dummy mommy?
Yeah.
3.8.
How about the great shot?
It's the cover. It's the cover of the hair.
Yeah.
Ah.
And an eye's not showing.
You know what's funny is they're doing it and hiding it, but they're not even in the photos already.
Should we see what's going on at Spank Bang? Anyway.
And you know what? I went a step further this time, and I was like, I'm going to have to join the fray. Let's just see how this goes. Ryofu Housen from Icky Towson.
How do you spell it?
RYOFU.
RYOFU.
Oh.
Okay. I think, you know, I can tell what you like. I kind of like this screenshot, though. I'm like, okay, I like that. You know, I'll say like a 4, sure.
For anyone that doesn't know, it's loosely based off of Romance of the Three Kingdoms.
Wait, really? Who's this supposed
And
to be?
she's supposed to be Lubu.
Whoa. For those who don't know, Lu Bu is like normally that actually brings it up for me. 4.5. This is the Lu Bu. 4.5.
It's a very Oscar from Evangelion pathetic. 4.5.
Now, the martial arts demonstration was just solid. This was a cool showcase. And what made this like even more fascinating than previous ones I had seen was that there was some exposition and explanation on the purpose of each move.
Introduces our concept of a parry and how to respond to a close enemy. Our final waza of the set, Tsukekomi, introduces new ways to clean our sword of its blood and to be aware of our surroundings.
The next panel I attended was called Marginalized Groups in Media. Now, when it comes to topics such as this, panels such as this, you have an idea of what the subject matter is, but you don't know like how the content is going to be delivered or anything. In case you're wondering why I went to this panel, I went for 2 reasons. One, I am a curious person by nature, so I'm always going to check out panels such as this. The second reason is Marin Miller absolutely killed it at the previous one, which was the Delicious in Dungeon. So I was like, I got to check this out. Marin Miller covered a vast array of topics, and it went from race to a study on women's involvement in independent film and their experiences being a trans man, and so on. Now, I'm just going to throw this out there right now. I personally don't have a problem with panels like this existing. There's this topic that's important or dear to me. Perhaps I can share some things or experiences I've had in my life, and anyone that's willing to listen to that, you know, maybe it can help them. I don't see anything wrong with that. In my opinion, this is kind of the beautiful side to conventions. I know to some people, they might think like, oh, so this is the agenda, blah, 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 blah. But really, truthfully, when it comes to conventions, especially ones that are like nonprofit, like if you want to run a panel, if you have a cool idea and you share it with them, they'll give you that opportunity. If it's something you're not interested in, don't go. It's that simple. In this case, the person is a voice actor, but you don't have to be a voice actor to run a panel, because you know what? Some of the best panels I went to were ran by normal people, were ran by just regular attendees. And I do want to share this little clip with you guys because it is quite fascinating. And if you're someone that watch foreign films, you know exactly what they are talking about in regards to this.
Everywhere, everything, everywhere, all at once, where it's like, okay, I actually think that her being the Chinese part of her identity is really kind of like integral to illustrating how fractured her whole life is. Because, I mean, obviously it's about, I mean, to me it was about struggling with ADHD. And, I didn't realize this until I watched the movie with the subtitles, but so in China there's Cantonese and there is Mandarin, and her husband speaks Mandarin, but her father speaks Cantonese. And so like even in her own home, she is constantly split between trying to translate 2 languages, trying to operate in 2 worlds. And that's a portion of identity that you wouldn't really be able to illustrate as a heteronormative cis white person living in a small town who doesn't have the experience necessarily of feeling the pull, the tension of 2 opposing cultures within your singular family unit trying to cooperate with each other.
And also dealing with the generational trauma that like she received and then was inflicted.
Yeah, exactly.
Cosplay contests are like, let's be honest, they are like the biggest event at conventions typically, especially the smaller conventions. They bring like, that's the event that grabs like a lot of people. I almost said everyone. That's what I kind of was in the middle of saying, then I stopped myself. I was like, well, I won't say everyone, but really, seriously, they grab a lot of people. They grab most people. Just to keep it real with you guys, there have been moments that I wanted to cover more cosplay contests and whatnot. But then what has stopped me? Well, what I just told you, that is typically the biggest event at the convention. So what happens is you have to be there earlier than any other event. And then also too, like because of what I'm doing, walking around with the camera, walking around with the gimbal, then they're like, oh, you can't stand here. Oh, you're going to have to sit down. Okay. Then they're going to sit you where you're far away. Like I said, unless you got there extremely early, it's just a pain, man. It's just a pain. And then also, then to add to that, you know, I'm someone that's been going to these things for years and years and years and years. And the days of me sitting in a long line for an event and getting there early, not feeling it. I'm just being honest with you guys. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. Not as long as I've been going. I'm just not feeling it. I'm like, you know, I will just catch it when I catch it.
Choice Awards. So these are ones that spoke to us specifically. So for my contestants, we will talk about why we enjoyed your costume, and then we will announce who our awards are. Okay, so for my personal judge's choice, this person had amazing details and construction and creativity. They had lights in their costume, which is something personally I have not done, and I'm always impressed when I see it. So for my judge's choice, I have Eclipse from Five Nights at Freddy's.
Judge's Choice Award goes to someone who had a really interesting take on a character I hadn't seen before. It was so fun. The fabric choices really brought it to life. Like, I mean, if you're a bear, you should have plush fabric, and blood should obviously be glittery and cute. So, my Judge's Choice goes to You'll Love as Miku, Gloomy Bear Boy.
I have an award to give out as well. This person had such an amazing cosplay, it blew me away. Yips. It was a very good choice, I know. Yes, I know. You may go off the stage, Yips.
This person had a really cute costume that had some beautiful techniques that I absolutely would not have been using at this time, like hand embroidery to really bring out the details, as well as really creative techniques that match the character, like making everything sparkly. Y'all can tell I like sparkles. All right, so Best Youth is going to Reggie as Giffany.
We're shuffling. Okay, our next award is going to go to our best group. We all loved the creativity of the materials used for this costume group, as well as the way they personified their characters on stage. We love it when, even if you don't know the source material, you get the vibes. So our best group is going to go to Team Fortress 2. This costume has so many wonderful and clean techniques on it. It was, they made smart choices with everything that they put into it. The rigging was beautiful, everything was smooth, seams were ironed, just everything that I really loved about it. And that is going to go to Tabitha Cerberus as Yoko.
Give those applause, guys!
Best in Show is going to go craftsmanship we saw out here today. Overall, there was just impeccable finishing and fit with drafting your own patterns, and I know for a fact this method, pattern drafting, is really difficult. It's so hard to get something to fit you with all the curves happening in a torso. And also some beautiful fabric choices and combinations and some custom dyeing.
This person also did such heavy wig work that getting something to go from 2D to 3D that does not normally exist in nature is such a skill, and we are so impressed by it.
All three of us had to look for the closures on this thing because it was so beautifully, crafted in the way that, anime proportions, anime does not show you how things close. So we were really impressed with that. Do we want to all do together? All right, so our best in show is going to go to
By Cute Miku.
Give it up again for our cosplayers! This game show is also tonight, so please come to that if you can. Give it up one more time for all of our cosplay
I got some really good footage. I got some really good shots. So yeah, this was totally worth it for me. And it was a good time. So y'all are going to laugh at me on this one. So this panel was called Tag Team Tournament. Tag Team Tournament. I literally have to I had to say that, think about it, because so Tag Team Tournament, I had to think about that. And I literally the whole day was like, okay, yeah, this is the next panel. So, okay, so tag. And I just said Tag Team Tournament. That is not what I thought I was going to. I thought I was going to Tekken Tag Tournament. I wish I was joking. I feel so dumb. It's pretty hilarious, though. Here I go. I pull up in this room, and I'm like, there are no consoles anywhere. Maybe this is just going to be some different interpretation, or maybe it's like I don't know what the hell I was thinking, but it wasn't Tekken Tag Tournament. Let's say you have a scenario where you pick your preference of two choices. These seem to be like a mixture of wholesome chungus anime tropes, or they could even be a mixture of controversial stuff. And let's just say one choice is yandere, right? And then another choice is there is only one bed. So it's kind of tropey sometimes in a way. So we're going to pretend that yandere wins and later goes up against another winner. And let's say these two categories tie. Now what's going to happen is one, they're going to take turns, but someone that voted for yandere, they're going to have to step up and say, kind of convince you like, hey, this is why you should pick this, because Psycho Chicks is where it's at. You know what I mean? That's pretty much what you got to do. Then the other side got to say, hey, this is why you should pick this over Psycho Chick, because Psycho Chicks aren't cool. This is cool.
All right. Going back up to the top, it's Piney versus Mafia. All in favor of Piney. All mean for each other? Mafia.
It's a tie.
It is a tie.
Fight.
I'll debate for Mafia.
I'll make you an offer you can't refuse.
Okay, we got one for Mafia. Go ahead and stand up, please.
Do you want to take her down?
who knows what, just all out, dirty streets. You're gonna be on there. Who doesn't love it? It's Mafia. You got me saying. You got me. Who doesn't love a little thrill and danger with your romance?
I know, with broken kneecaps, that's like the most romantic thing ever.
Who doesn't love
If
it?
there's still a tiebreaker, I'll decide.
Heidi? Heidi? Anyone from Heidi?
You deserted me.
Oh,
Dissuaded.
Mafia? Mafia.
If you haven't played the Yakuza
I knew
series, play
exactly
the
how to
Yakuza
appeal
series.
to Reese. That's why you lost your vote.
But what makes it entertaining is that sometimes it could be something very wholesome versus something that's very degenerate. And then you have like degenerate person saying, yo, this is why you got to vote for this. And then you got the wholesome Chungus person saying, no, this is because this is, you know, the definition of slice of life anime or whatever. You know, but it can go off the rails fast. And surprisingly, I actually enjoyed this. Even though I went for totally the wrong reasons, I actually had fun with this. It was totally unexpected, like how I could see, even with the room we had, the people were pretty engaged, but I could see, like, if this was at a bigger convention, I could just see this just getting nuts, you know, because they had some wild topics, but because I don't even remember how many people were there. It could have been like 14 people, but I could see if like you have a bigger group of people, they're just going nuts, saying all kinds of tomfoolery. Now, one thing I will say is that I don't know the exact rules or anything. So for example, I don't really know like how they pick like, okay, it's this person that's going to plead their case for this topic, or if it's like more of a volunteer thing, because that's what it looked like on my end, that it was just people that wanted to step up and say, oh yeah, I'll speak on Yandere, you know, I'm down for that. That's my life, bro. So there was a DJ and a dance that happened on Saturday night. I am confident that almost all anime cons have a dance or a rave show. It's just one of those things that is a staple. I personally find it cool that anime conventions always have a DJ do a set late at night. Sometimes it's a rave. Sometimes it's more like kind of pop stuff, you know, just top 40s type music. But, you know, it's kind of like a moment to bring a different form of entertainment to the con that may not be directly associated with nerd culture, but it can pull some people in. Next on the list is Tatted Sith's cosplay game show. So this was an 18+ panel that went off the rails. Pretty much you have one person facing a corner. It's kind of like a game show, kind of like a date show, I guess you could say. And then you have 3 people that are trying to sell themselves to this person. And all of these people, by the way, are in cosplay. And typically, at least this is my understanding, is that they're in character. And they're trying to sell you on their character. And I mean, my lord, some of these cosplayers, they went all in on the characters. And then other cosplayers, they took great liberties with their character. But they made it insanely fun. This was a good time. So the next one was a heck of a title. Magical Girls Are Witches Without Pointed Hats. That is a fire title, by the way. A very, that could be a YouTube video, 1000%. Reading off this panel made me correctly assume that this person was a Puella Magi Madoka Magica fan. I was not wrong. And wow, the panel was amazing. I was not the least bit surprised that this person had like a TikTok following, has a YouTube channel. I guess right now she only has like 2 videos up, but you can just tell the amount of effort that's put in. She's more on the essay side of things, which truthfully, I've always had like a deep affinity for this. I always wanted to do that, but think of how long it takes me to just make regular videos. You know, I would pretty much be releasing a video every 9 months.
As I said earlier, to try and be accepted on the world stage, a lot of anime were modeled after Western fairy tales or Western ideas, maybe literally adapting classic Western fairy tales. So you had things like Sally the Witch, which was the first magical girl anime that aired on TV, Heidi Girl of the Alps, which is literally a Western novel, Princess Knight, which I'll get to in a second, and Kimba the White Lion. These were some of the earliest and most popular 60s anime. And it is noted that pretty much all anime till the 70s was aimed at children. There might have been like a couple of like adult, like avant-garde films, but it was largely a demographic for kids. That is the same person. That is Princess Knight that came out in 1958, and as I assume probably everyone in this room knows, Snow White in 1937.
Anyways, this panel pretty much takes you down the history of magical girls, and it did not disappoint. I even learned about the origin story of Truck-kun. I mean, that's just legendary, is it not?
I'm gonna tell you the story of Minky Momo. So long story short, this was a show that was aimed, their target demographic was like 7 to 9-year-old girls. This was a very popular after-school time block. You could pretty safely say it was a Sailor Moon of its era with how popular it was. It was about a little girl named Momo who had a magic wand, and she would use her magic to solve the problem of the episode with her little animal companions. A lot of these shows in this era were funded by toy deals. The toy deal for this show was unceremoniously canceled, and the animators were like, I mean, I can get my job anywhere. It doesn't really matter. So they protested by airing an episode where this little girl is hit by a truck and killed. And that is how the episode ends. Now, what's even funnier is that this did get a dub in the 80s, and it's lost media for the most part, the dub itself. But a couple episodes were able to be saved because someone recorded them on a VHS tape, and we have a clip of the infamous episode where Minky Momo meets her tragic end.
And just like I did with Black Nerd Rises, I do have to shout out this person's stuff. So she is on TikTok as Midnightbirdie. And if you want to find her on YouTube, it's Midnightbirdie 3580. I could definitely tell with Midnightbirdie, she was bringing the heat with her college papers. The panel was like executed like the same way a YouTube video would be executed. It was so awesome that I decided to hang out and stay an hour later and wait for her next panel. So Midnightbirdie's next panel was Anime Openings Mania. Now, really, it's just been in the past few years where I feel a little older, I guess. But here's the thing. When you have someone like me that's been watching anime since like 91, if you ask me like, hey, you know, I'm going to play a song for you and it's from this anime you watched in 2008, know what it is? No, not ever. Most of the stuff is just, it's gone. Unless it was a show that I watched a couple of times and I was just obsessed over, then a lot of stuff that I only watched one time, unfortunately, it's like key things will stand out. But like, as far as like the opening of the song, a lot of that stuff I'll be like, sounds familiar. Yeah, so. Nope, don't have it. Don't know. No clue. Yeah, I just do horrible at stuff like this. But it's still entertaining. Like I said, done in a similar fashion to Black Nerd Rises. Still different and entertaining. But as far as me personally, yeah, I don't know. I always do horrible at stuff like this, but it is entertaining to watch. I think even if you are someone like me that you've been watching stuff and then if it's not recent, if it's not something you watch recently, it's like, whoosh, it's just out of your head.
Incorrect. Going once, twice. That was your name.
Oh, man.
High School of the Dead.
Correct. High School of the Dead. Also, not all these shows will be family friendly, but none of them will have an inappropriate word in their title. Disclaimer. Correct.
I didn't ask that.
sorry.
No, you're good.
That one was a little mean. But this is easy to medium, and they're kind of mixed in. Anybody have any guesses? Right, that was Inuyasha.
Oh my god.
Like opening 5 or something.
So as things were wrapping up, I'm left to think about all the things I intended and how do I feel about the convention as a whole? Was I satisfied? And you know, it can be tricky because I'm going to keep it real with you guys. I've said that a lot in this video, but SungWon Cho, I was hyped as soon as I heard that he was going to be at this convention. So I was like, it's a win, baby. It's a win. So with that being said, I'm going to still try to add some objectiveness to the situation. And that is this. I don't think there were as many people as there were in 2022. Now, if you're asking me, why the heck are you bringing up 2022 and not 2023? So 2023 happened in a casino, which, by the way, I thought was a terrible idea until I was there and I was in said casino. And then you can gamble, you can drink. There's a pretty decent food area. And then they have a Brazilian steakhouse. I had an awesome time. Unexpectedly, didn't see it coming for a mile. I'm bringing that up to say this, that it's not realistic to compare that casino experience to this one. So it's better to compare 2022 to 2024. And here's the thing, curveball for you. There might have been a reason why there were less people this year. And that is, believe it or not, there was another anime convention that was happening the same day in the same city. Who does that? No one. That's who does that. But, you know, I don't know who booked first or whatever. And I totally understand, like, when, you know, I'm not an expert on this, but I have been going to conventions for a while. And I know in some ways they're a little at the mercy of what days they can get from the hotel. And I know from the hotel's perspective, they're like, hell, yeah, sure, you can run your anime convention during our times we're slow as hell. I mean, it is what it is. It's business, right? You're running a business. You're going to do what benefits you. And the convention has to kind of make a decision, like, are we going to go run this thing when it's cold as hell? Or are we going to do this thing right before summer? Or you know what I mean? So that's why some of them happen at weird times. But it's just really unfortunate that we have two anime conventions happening at the same time in the same city. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but I will say this. This is what I do remember. I bumped into someone outside of the convention and we got to talking, and he said the name to me at the time, and I looked it up. All I can tell you is this, that the guy that voiced the main character in Persona 5 was there, which that's like, ooh, why was I not there? Man, damn. But, you know, that's a big one. That would have pulled me in. You know, if it was 2 weeks apart, hell, I would have made a stop there and said, hey, here's my game. Because I got quite a few autographs actually for Persona 5. Persona 5 isn't even my favorite Persona. But, you know, when Persona 5 came out, that was a big deal. That was a big deal. And I just happened to bump into a bunch of voice actors that did work in that game. So I just kept my game at the ready, and I got a couple of people, quite a few people to sign it. He's one that I don't have. That would have pulled me in. So with that being said, it's very apparent and it's very possible that both conventions somewhat cannibalize each other. That is very plausible. Yeah, so it's kind of mad weird to end the video on that note, but we are at the end of the video, unfortunately. The convention, I had a blast. The convention was fun, it was entertaining, and I think if they have a moment, which it appears, at least from what I last saw, that they're gearing up for, for 2025. I think as long as there's not any other conventions in the area going on, I think they'll get an even better pull than ever before. And I definitely look forward to that. Wishing this team the best, and I hope they keep AnimeOklahoma going, because OKC really needs this. I mean, they really do. And there's plenty enough people that live here that love anime, and there's definitely a big community here for sure. Bigger than my city. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know how I'm doing. Let me know where you stand with all of this. Hey, let me know if you don't live in Oklahoma, but you still watch this video just because you love convention videos, just because maybe you enjoyed one of the voice actors, just because maybe one of the topics or panels I brought up, it intrigued you. Please let me know that down in the comments. If you were there, let me know that as well. For anyone that watched the Rise of the Ronin video and you watched this one, I'm letting you just know this. I'm giving you a heads up. It's going down. I'm making a second Rise of the Ronin video. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a video you don't want to miss. But anyways, I appreciate you watching the video to the very end. I'll see you next time.